and welcome to the Gala Vision Podcast. I'm your host, Alexia, aka The Gala Life. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me on the podcast. It may not be Wednesday, but we're dropping new episodes every Wednesday here on YouTube. If you're watching, welcome to the Gala Life Studio, or if you're listening wherever you get your podcasts, make sure to subscribe for all of our new episodes. I have some fun updates in the works, some fun interviews, projects, just really great Gala Life updates that I'm going to want to share with you. So I hope you stay tuned. I also just created the Gala Vision TV Instagram where you can keep up with the podcast, where I'll be adding more behind the scenes content, more shorts surrounding each episode, so you can really stay tuned to what's happening at the Gala Vision Podcast on Instagram versus just what I'm sharing on the Gala Life, which I know is a lot to keep up with. So I'm really grateful if you are part of this journey with me. If you're gallivanting and enjoying my content, make sure you're subscribing, engaging. Please drop your comments. Actually, if you go to the Gala Vision Podcast Instagram, Gala Vision TV, I dropped a link where you can submit questions or topics, or if you want to be interviewed on the podcast. That was weird. I'm going all Boston. It's because Mike and I watched The Departed this weekend. But if you have questions or if you want to be interviewed on the podcast or know somebody, let me know. Submit your question. It's actually right there. So last week, the St. Pete Gals hosted a really fun spa night at Avmi Med Spa in Tampa. We collaborated with their team to have just like a little happy hour gathering. It was really intimate, just 6 girls. And actually I had 2 of them bail. So no shade. I'm just saying it was a much smaller event, very intimate. I had some people reach out and ask why they weren't invited. And it was just kind of like a very intimate group where we hand selected literally 4 to 5 people to invite. But it was really fun. We had a blast with Avmi. It's a great med spa. I am now a member and I go there once a month to get my facials and my dermaplane. I've yet to enter the world of Botox and filler. I'm curious to see your thoughts on that. Drop them in the comments. I'd love to talk to somebody who's more informed and have them on the podcast to share more, because I'm a little scared of needles, so I just haven't ventured there. I'm sure I could use Botox and filler somewhere. I'm just kind of scared, and I don't want to start doing it now and then having to add that maintenance to my monthly beauty routine or yearly beauty routine, because I'm already spending so much money. I'm actually the laziest glam gal. Like, obviously beauty and fashion and all of that is really important to me, and I do spend a lot of time and money to keep up appearances as I want to, especially as a host, and for the TV that I work on, I want to look a certain way, and the camera adds 10 pounds, it adds wrinkles. I hate watching myself back. I seldom watch anything that I do on camera back because I cringe watching it, and I've said that before, but you can be so hard on yourself, really, and I'm so guilty of being extra hard on myself. I don't know if it's a way of forcing myself to achieve a certain standard of perfection that I have in my mind, but I'm like the hardest on myself. And watching myself back, I know, can be negative for me. I'll like cling onto one mistake that I made on a show, and then I can't sleep that night because I'm just going over it in my head again and again. So I'm sure I could use some Botox and filler somewhere, so I'd love to chat with someone who may know more about it, and we can talk more about it. But at the Avmi event, we were offering discounts on Botox, filler, all that fun stuff, treatments, facials. I stuck to the facials, and they're amazing. Actually, they gave us this really great gift baggie that I wanted to unbox. So shout out to Avmi Med Spa for hosting the St. Pete Gals at your spa in Tampa for a St. Pete Gals night, along with like all of the fun goodies at the event and the treatments and the food and the drinks. They gave us this gift baggie with Revision skincare products, which I'm telling you are not cheap. I actually bought the full size version of this cream a couple months ago, and it was not cheap. So they gave us this travel size Revision skincare DEJ face cream, and it's really, really great. Anything Revision that I've tried has been awesome. A little ice lip thingy I love to use these for my lips and my eyes when I need to relax. Stress ball. I love stress balls. Actually, I have my stress flamingo right here. You'd never know it, but a lot of times when I'm on a Zoom call, I'll like be clutching a stress ball under the desk while I'm talking just to keep me sane if I'm frustrated with a client or something. And then some SPF, which shout out Claudia, who's my favorite esthetician ever and works at Avmi. She says stay pretty forever, so remember your SPF. And then their papaya enzyme cleanser. So I'm excited to try these products, even though I'm trying to keep my skincare routine really, really basic. A couple months ago, I think I started getting a lot of beauty products sent to me, like PR packages, which as a content creator, I'll get packages shipped to me, which I'm so grateful for. Sometimes I'm told that they're going to be sent to me. Sometimes I ask for them. Sometimes I'll just get brands that send me products, which I'm not complaining about, but I don't always use them. And I have a few that I wanted to open with you because I've just haven't opened them yet. And I was curious to see what was inside and if I'd use them. But I've been trying to just stay away from too many skincare products. And OFME has helped get my skin back to a place that, I had like cystic acne breakouts after I turned 30. And again, I think it was after the wedding. I just kind of went ham on like new products and treatments and things like that. And I just developed this crazy acne last year that was like cystic, like painful deep in my skin. And I went to OFME, and Claudia has checked my skin back where it needs to be, like with a few basic products that she recommended. And I'm going to share those with you too, because they have changed my skin routine and some of them are really affordable. But I'm so excited because on this episode of the Gala Vision Podcast, I am interviewing content creator, beauty expert, on-air host, just an amazing, amazing gal. Elena Duque Beauty is her platform, but Elena Duque. And we chat about life as a content creator, as a beauty influencer, all of her expertise as an on-air host. Like, she does so many things, and she's a mom. So this was a great chat. I had so much fun getting to meet her online. We've never met in person, but that's really the beauty of being able to connect through content creation and through our platforms in this kind of way and spark new relationships and to learn from other inspiring women. I learned so much from my conversation with her, and I hope you do too. It was really fun. So stay tuned for my chat with Elena Duque Beauty, and make sure to follow her at Elena Duque Beauty across all social media platforms.
All right.
So, hey guys, welcome to the Gala Vision Podcast. We are here today with a super inspiring and amazing content creator, on-air host, entrepreneur, beauty expert, all things just awesomeness that you as a gal need to know about. And that is Elena Duque, right? Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Are you Latina?
My dad's Colombian. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I didn't realize that. So I'm Latina too. Another great addition to, I like to talk about being Latina on the podcast too. So I didn't realize that layer. That's awesome. But welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time and for chatting with me today. I just, wanted to learn more about you and your platform and your experience and just how you inspire and empower other female creators and entrepreneurs and a little bit about your background. And I know we were just talking about how you moved to Florida from New York during COVID. So I'd love to dive deep into that and learn more.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for having me, Alexia. It's been so nice to meet. I've been following you, and I was like, oh, she kind of does some similar things to what I do. Yeah. So when I lived in New York, I was an esthetician, and then I owned a spa. I opened a spa in 2015 because I thought that's something that I wanted until I did it, and I did not like it. And so I started our Instagram page for our spa, and I realized how much I really liked. That's how I realized I liked content creation, and I was focusing so much on the social media aspect at that time. And then I decided to start my own separate one, Elena Duque Beauty, and
Wow.
then I started kind of putting all my efforts into that. And I got the opportunity to go on TV. It just so happened one of our receptionists knew a producer at Good Day New York. And I was like, yeah, she's like, yeah, she's looking to do like something on a spa, like spa treatments. So we literally packed up a huge truck with our machines, which if you've ever been to a med spa, they're massive.
Right.
And we bought some like radio frequency devices and all this stuff. And we did some treatments on air on Rosanna Scotto. And I got bit by that TV bug. I was like, oh my goodness, like this is meant for me. I want to be on TV. I want to talk about beauty. And I was always a huge fan of Today's Show, and Jill Martin was kind of like my idol or my inspiration. And it's funny, fast forward to years later, when I was a guest host on QVC, I did see her there a couple of times.
Wow.
But I was too scared. I said hi, but I didn't want to be like a cheese ball and go, hi, like you're my inspiration, you're why I'm here, that kind of thing. Because it feels like such a dork, I'm like, I don't want to do that. But yeah, so what's funny is when COVID hit, we had already been in the process of trying to sell the spa to someone because we were kind of just done. And then COVID hit, and then you couldn't go near anybody, let alone give someone a facial. And yeah, we were basically forced to shut. But as much as COVID was horrible, and I've lost people, and I know so many people did, it's the reason why so many good things happened in my life, which is crazy to say, but so many positive changes came about. Like we moved to Florida, and it really just helped propel my social media career even more. And then when I started my TikTok in 2021, it was still COVID time. So that was when TikTok was so much different. And I feel like that's where I saw more growth. So then I was putting more energy into that, and just not even just the growth, like as numbers, but the community and the back and forth and the comments and the people I met. I never had gotten that from Instagram. So it was just insane. Like one video went viral and I got 30,000 followers just from like this one mascara video that I did, which is crazy.
Oh my God.
I know. I don't think that happens as much often. Like I think maybe like if I went viral, like if I did like not too long ago, I got like maybe 5,000 followers, but still that's like a lot, you know?
Yeah, especially now.
Yeah. And I've been sitting like a duck on Instagram, like nobody sees my videos, and it's just, I don't know. It's just another thing. But speaking of TikTok now, with the ban maybe happening, it's scary for a lot of people because that's their livelihood, and it's part of mine too. It's not the whole thing because I don't put all my eggs in one basket, but that would be a huge setback for me. And I've already had a setback like a year ago. So I'm like career wise. So it's just like, oh my God, it's hard. This is a hard business.
It is. And working for yourself and essentially being self-made, like that's really hard and intimidating. And the fact that you kind of built the ship as you were going on it, I think is pretty awesome. Like you didn't have TV experience, but you did it and you learned that you really liked that. So I think for young women or young creators who are looking to go their own way and follow that path, I think it's so important for them to realize you have to take that first step and you have to do it like in order to make
it. You have to fail. You're going to fail. You're going to look dumb. Oh my gosh. So I didn't know how TV really worked as far. So I was just doing more like editorial stuff. And then I realized I can actually make money doing it. Yeah. And basically started developing relationships with brands as their spokesperson, and then going on TV and speaking about the products. And I would travel. I mean, I went to KTLA. I used to go to Great Day, Washington. All of this was before COVID. And it was great. And I think TV was a little bit more prominent then as it is now, but it's not dead. I mean, it's still a thing and I still do it. But at that time, I don't think TikTok was even around yet. So, I mean, social media, the landscape has just changed so much in the past, 5 years since I've been doing TV. But I think that's another thing that sets you and I both apart, is that we have both like social media and that TV aspect. And it's nice to have range, and have other skills, and not just say, I'm only going to be on Instagram, or I'm only going to do TV, or I'm only going to do YouTube, because any one of those things, as we know, can just kind of get taken away from us. Yeah. So, you have to have multiple balls in the air all the time. But what you were saying about young girls, I started my career later in life. I'm 43. I started in my late 30s. So like anything's possible. There are so many women on social media that are in my age range that are influencers, and we follow each other and we support each other. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, I have a friend, shout out Amy West, who's a guest host on HSN as well. And she's also an influencer, and she's, I believe, like 42. Sorry, Amy, if I'm blowing you up. But she tells me, what we do is so image focused. So what happens if like my face, God forbid, something happens to your face or whatever, it's like you really do have to diversify and be able to be dynamic and on multiple platforms. So I think that's important, especially in what you do. You quite literally work on the face.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm not practicing anymore because I really just didn't want to do that anymore. As much as I love beauty and skincare, I think I like to talk about it more, or like, learn about new products and everything. I love med spa stuff. I'm licensed also as a laser tech. So I really love lasers and like all those kind of things, radio frequency. Like, I just think technology is so interesting, and how we can really make ourselves look younger, if you want to say younger, or help with acne scarring or dark spots, and so many things you can do besides just skincare. Like at-home treatments are now blowing up. I mean, I have so many devices at home that I don't need to even go get anything done. Like I do my own microderm, I do my own laser, I have the Neura laser, I do the new phase. Like they're all amazing. And like, yeah, they're a little more time consuming, but I'm just like, I have Netflix and then I'll do it. It's like kind of like my me time. Yeah. Yeah.
What's your like favorite at-home product that you have? I once had an esthetician recommend the frequency wand, and that's been one that like I love, and it was like $19.99 on Amazon, and
Oh my gosh.
a holy grail one that I just like love. So what's maybe a product that you say like you have to have in your at home?
You mean like a device? Like a device? That's my
Yeah,
favorite?
like a device essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, so that you
So
can.
I love my, like I have my like four because they all do different things, but my favorite one, it's from Trophy, Trophy, Trophy Skincare. And I actually worked with them, maybe it was 2021. They sent me their at-home microdermabrasion. It's about $300, but I still have it. It still works really great. And we
Wow.
had a diamond tip microderm at my spa, and I want to say that was like a $10,000 machine. This one is literally as if like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids took it, miniaturized it, and it's exactly the same. Like it's exactly the same. The only thing is I know how to use one, and it's hard to actually do it on your own face because you need, it's different when I'm working on someone and I can maneuver. So there's a little learning curve, but anybody can do it as long as they just kind of practice. And it's incredible for helping with lymphatic drainage, getting all that dead skin off, making your pores look a little bit smaller. It is hands down one of the best devices I've ever had.
And I mean, 300, yeah, is a lot, but like I've spent $300 on a facial dermaplane
on one facial, right?
session. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. I'm all about like I turned 31 in February, and I used to spend more money on my makeup before and like just kind of like whatever my skincare. And now it's the complete opposite. I'm just so focused on what I'm putting on my face, and I'm learning that less is more. And I was trying to experiment like right after my wedding, it was last year, I started like, okay, now I can, try things. I was being like playing it safe before the wedding so that I wouldn't look crazy. And I think I started going too hard and putting too much on my skin that I just developed this like cystic, crazy acne. And thankfully, the past like 3 months, I've been able to literally with 3 products, just like a calming serum from Dermalogica and like one or two other things, but like super basic. So I think that's also really important to keep in mind, like quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity, knowing your skin type before you buy something. Just because something is viral or like every influencer is using it doesn't mean it's necessarily right for you.
Yeah.
And sometimes people say there's no way you use all these products you're talking about. I'm like, absolutely not. Makeup, yes, because it depends on the look you're going for or whatever. But when it comes to skincare products, I basically test them out, and I'm like, or if it's not for me, like I'll get sent acne products. I don't have acne, but I'm like, okay, let me look at it. Let me look at the ingredients. Let me look at the clinicals. And as an esthetician, as a professional, I can say, I think this would be good, or I think this would be bad. So a lot of times it's like, I get these things sent to me, I'll test them out. And sometimes they get added into my skincare routine. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes I'm like, meh, but I could say meh to something, and someone else that could be like their holy grail. So it really is not one size fits all. And so when I'm like, oh, I love this, you see an influencer go, I love this. Like you can't love everything. There's no way.
Yeah.
So I do have my favorites. Totally have my favorites, and in different price ranges. Like drugstore products, I love La Roche-Posay. They are really good. My husband has eczema, so we use a lot of products from them. I love their sunscreens. I think they're great. And Rock Skincare is also like a bit affordable. And Olay, like those are three that I think, like if you're looking for budget, and even those are getting pricier, they're like $30. I'm like,
yeah. La Roche-Posay is definitely getting, because I definitely I shop their products, and you're right. But okay, so I wanted to ask you, what are some like drugstore products that you recommend, and then some like higher tier products that you recommend?
Yeah. So I love those lines. Rock has a really good, somebody just asked me for an eye cream, and they have this dual eye cream, which I think is really smart because your eyelid and your under eye are two different areas. And most times we're like putting it here and putting the same one. So this one targets puffiness and targets crow's feet and dark circles. And it's a jar that has two different, like one is more of a cream and one is more of a serum. And you actually like feel it working. So I think that's really great because it's targeted for both the under and the upper. The con to that product is I traveled with it, and because like I feel like it like turned. Some of one product got into the other. So like a packaging issue there. But you know, and I keep it real. Like, yeah, I love it. I mean, I even did an ad with that. How I found out about the product was I got asked to do a paid advertisement. But I love it. And I literally got a message on Instagram from one of my friends. I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's good. Yeah. So I think that's like a really cool, neat product. I love any like thermal spring sprays. Those are my favorite. I think they're great to dampen your beauty blender with. I think it makes a difference rather than tap water. So I'll use that on beauty blender. Like I said, with La Roche-Posay, great eczema products. Like those big, like the Lipicar cream, they're good for everybody. So like kids, 20, if you're 20 or 80, they're good for you.
Yeah.
So those are some of the ones I like. And I think they're, you go to Target, and now even Target, it's like, oh my God, it's like going into Sephora almost. Like there's so many choices, and the more choices, it's just such a saturated industry, and so it's like hard to know what's right for you. So I try to inform.
That's what I wanted, to ask you, like with all the content creators that specialize in beauty, it's easy to kind of, try to take all the advice that you think will pertain to you. But I took some time with my esthetician to sit down and talk to her, and she was like real, not trying to sell me products from the spa I was at, but like recommended products from Amazon, from La Roche, and really helped me like curate the exact skin routine that I needed. But like you mentioned with the eyes, they're different parts of the skin, different types of skin. I've realized too, patch treating my face sometimes, like there's certain areas of my skin that maybe don't need this type of serum, or maybe it's a little heavier. And like, I have really sensitive dry skin around here, but then I get really like juicy around here. So I think that's something I've learned about recently, is like using products like patch treating my face. And I wonder if that's something, you recommend or you're familiar with.
It's so funny. I did, because I was doing my makeup for the podcast, and I'm like, whenever I'm going to do my makeup, I'm like, let me film it, right? Get ready with me. So this is it's more of a makeup thing, but I use two different primers. So I use one, like a more of a blurring primer, just like here, because this is where I have more pores that are visible, like here, kind of like the T-zone. Right. And then I use more of an illuminating primer on the outer face where I don't have that issue. And so you can do the same thing with skincare. Like you said, it's kind of like, have you ever heard, and this was a term used a few years ago, but it's called multi-masking. Like when you do face masks, it's the same thing. Like you're not going to put a mud mask everywhere. You don't really need it probably here. You probably could just put a mud mask here, and then maybe put like a hydrating mask here, if it's not a sheet mask, obviously, like something that's more of like a cream or something. So yeah, you could do that too. Just tailor it to the different parts of your face, because your entire face is not going to be like one thing most times, unless you're like super oily everywhere. And that really makes a difference, like knowing like what to put and where and what your skin needs. For me at this point, it's just very intuitive. I'm like, okay, like if I just traveled, I know like I need to like really get my skin scrubber out. I need to do like a detoxifying mud mask to get all the junk out, do a good exfoliant, like all those kinds of things. Or then if I'm like, okay, I've been testing too many products, now my skin is like going through hell. I need to just kind of repair my skin barrier and do more of like skin flooding, which is like another thing that's going on now, which is like basically introducing lots of like moisture in, using lots of toners and just flooding the skin with lots of moisture.
That's what I'm doing, I think, now, skin flooding. So that's interesting. Just using a lot of like hydrating products. And I removed all the actives and stuff, like any retinol, any active vitamin C's, because I've just been like raw. So that's really interesting. Skin flooding. I didn't realize I was doing that.
Yeah, well, there's so many terms, but I mean, they usually come from like dermatologists and like estheticians on social media, but they have really good, I mean, like really, there's so many things you can learn. But at the end of the day, a lot of people think they have a certain skin type and they could be wrong. So like that's part of the issue. It's like, okay, most people say, oh, I have sensitive skin. I mean, when I was an esthetician, every single person, not one person didn't say, oh, I'm a sensitive skin type. So everyone thinks they're sensitive. And let me tell you, you don't have sensitive skin unless like you're really bad, like every single thing bothers you, or like scents bother you, like a lot of scented products, all those types of things. But for the most part, people don't have that unless it's something they're kind of just getting contact dermatitis or they're like allergic to.
Yeah. And that's what I think happened to me. I started using a lot of treatment or skincare products to treat acne. And then my esthetician was like, no, baby girl, your skin is like really dry. Like you think you're oily, but you're actually drying out. And yeah, so it's, I think, important to educate yourself instead of like just pulling from all these different creators. But
Yeah.
do you have a creator that you like or that you think gives solid advice and that you would recommend people check out besides yourself, of course?
Yeah. There's an esthetician on TikTok, and I think it's called Beauty Junkie Monkey or something. It's like a funny name. I'm probably saying it wrong. I was gonna say Chunky Monkey, but that's an ice cream flavor. No, it's Beauty Jun. And first of all, why would you name yourself that? No, it's Beauty Junkie Monkey. She's really good. And then I actually met the derm doctor. He has like, so I knew he had like a
Oh,
bajillion followers, but I just didn't know exactly how many. And I got invited to an Art Basel event. Shiseido invited me on this like yacht party. So I go and I see him and I'm like, oh my God. So I start talking to him because I
oh,
had an issue like that. I actually got featured in a magazine about, I tried Skin Vive, which is like a hyaluronic acid skin booster. It's an injection and it went wrong. And I still have, which you can't see right now, but I still have residual little bumps. And so I was talking to him about it. And this was back in December and I had it done in November. My skin looked bad. I was like mortified that I had to go to an influencer event
oh
in
my
the daylight, like with this, like I looked like I had chicken pox. It was so bad. But he was so nice, and he, I believe, just came out with his own skincare line too. So I want to kind of try it. But he's really great. And then when I was like, I know he has a lot of followers, I just don't remember how many. And then I kind of like looked him up. I'm like, oh my God, 18 million. That's crazy. I'm like,
like,
that is on another level.
yeah.
But he was so nice, like so like not, pretentious or anything like that. So that was really nice. But yeah, like I think he's just the real deal. He's the real deal. And like I said, the Beauty Junkie Monkey, she has good advice too. And I follow a lot of beauty creators. I actually made friends with them online and we never met up. And I'm like, why don't we all do like an over 40 influencer trip? Like I'll try and put it together.
I love that.
And I reached out to Virgin Voyages because I had done an influence, like I did like a little exchange with them. Like they gave me the trip and then I posted about it. And I'm like, what if I get a bunch of over 40 creators? And I did. I organized it and we went on a Virgin cruise and it was so fun to like
Oh,
meet a bunch of
wow.
creators from like all over, literally Canada and the United States. And it was really awesome. So I'd like to do that again and
That's
try and like
really,
organize them.
really, really cool. Yeah, I wanted to ask you more about the content creator side of it, like being invited to events like that. Like, I think that's so awesome. And the fact, I mean, you have a huge following, but you're getting invited to these events with like someone like the derm doctor. And
I know.
that's really awesome. And I think you're positioning yourself in that way to be regarded as like a thought leader in that niche, in that industry. And I think the media, the exposure to media really helps. But as you did mention, TV and traditional media is kind of going on the wayside because you have a 24-hour news cycle. And so social media is like right there to give you updates every second. But what would you say as a creator has helped differentiate yourself along with the TV to like position yourself to be invited to events like that and to make those relationships with brands and other bigger creators? Because I mean, Art Basel, that's no joke. I'm from Miami, so I know that an event with Shiseido and Art Basel on a yacht, like
I know.
that's amazing. So like props to you. And what would you advise to other creators trying to get to those kinds of places?
So here's the thing. Like, I think it's really important to know which brands you really love and like, okay, these are the brands I have like envisioned that I want to work with one day, right? Like say that to yourself, like, okay, make a list and then really like make sure you're always interacting with them, whether you're getting paid or not. Like I know like we're like, oh well, if they're not going to pay me, I'm not going to post. No, like if I love something, I'm going to post about it, whether they're paying me or not. So I think that's important is to like not think about that so much. And I'm not saying working for free because like, I get emails every day asking me like, oh, will you make a video in exchange for like, this $20 eye cream? Like, I don't like, I don't like that. It feels icky. But when I get an email like, hey, I have this product, I'd like you to try it, no strings attached. Okay, then let's do it, right? Because it could be the next amazing thing, or I could love it and say, hey, let's, do something with this. But keeping that list of like brands you really want to work with and then trying to go to any events that they have. Like a lot of them have events where anybody can go. and talking to people, finding out who. So I have a funny story. I got invited to a Tarte event in the fall, and it was for a Latina, and I'm like totally like having a brain fart on her name right now. Candy Lover. She's on YouTube, and she's a very big beauty creator, and she was doing this collab with Tarte, and there was a bundle and whatever. So they invited me. I don't even know how they got my info. Sometimes I'm like, how do these people even get my info? So I go, and it was great. And then I posted some stuff. I didn't hear back. Then I got invited again by them to go to a Tarte event in Miami. And this is for their kindness tour. So they're doing this 25 city kindness tour, and they're going to different cities. And there's a bus where like anybody can go, and you show up and you wait online, you get free stuff. You get to meet Maureen Kelly, who is the CEO. But they invited me to their influencer event, which is separate. So I go, and I'm like, my goal, I said in my head, I am going to meet Maureen. I am going to literally talk to her, because I knew she was going to be there. And I see her, and I'm like, I don't want to like sound mean, but I'm like, these girls are there for free lip gloss. Like most of these influencers were there just to take a selfie and free lip gloss. Nobody was going up to her. They probably didn't even know who she was. Like, do you really love this brand? Do you even know like what it's about or who the person behind all of this is? So I went up to her. We had a great conversation. Then she introduced me to their lead makeup artist.
Oh,
we
wow.
made a connection. Then I get an email from her publicist asking me, do you want to go on the trolley for their next stop, which is going to be in Tampa? That was a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
And
I
I
saw
got to go. I went with a friend. We were literally like on the trolley with them for the whole day. So I got to be with her all day. Like imagine, like she's the CEO of like one of the top 5 beauty brands in the country.
Wow.
And so that was just really like, whoa. And then I did a beauty segment on Tampa, and I definitely included them in it. Because I want to keep fostering that relationship. I like their products. I like their mission. I like everything about it. And I feel like it aligns with me. And even though they do tend to only invite like younger influencers to their things, they're starting to change that, because they just did their yearly influencer trip, and they had lots of over 40 women. They had all different like sized women. It wasn't just like a bunch of like skinny blonde 20-year-olds, So I was like, okay, this is like, they're catching up with everything. So I like what they're doing. But I think it's just not being scared, doing your homework, know who to talk to. And, the problem is you got to get out there in person. Like that's how it was back in the day. Like salespeople, marketing people, like they went to networking events, because when you really see someone face to face and you meet them face to face, and they can put a face to your name, you're not just some like I think that really makes a difference. So it's finding out how to make those in IRL, as they say, connections.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I just was like, that's such a good quote. It's not that. Yeah, it's so true. I mean, that's why I started St. Pete Gals, because when I moved to St. Pete, not knowing anybody from Miami, I was like, how do I create connection in this community? And it was literally going out there, just like going to a coffee shop, going to a bar, and just striking up a conversation with someone. And that's how it's led to these connections. And the fact that, I don't have a ton of followers, but it's the community and the loyalty that I've been able to build, because you have to take that step and go out there and talk to people and network in person, because there's nothing like in-person connection. Like this whole conversation, I'm like, I'm dying to meet you in person now. I feel like it's just such a good vibe and energy. And I feel like it's only maximized in person with you. So I think that's a tip that creators this day and age, especially the Gen Z and everybody, like you need to meet in person.
You need to. And I feel like, so I've attended a few of these influencer events, and a lot of them seem to kind of like not know how to do that. And I think that maybe because of my age, like I have the best of both worlds. Like I grew up in a time where there was no social media, and now I'm like, so I know how to kind of like maneuver and like just be myself and just go up to people. And a lot of them, I don't think it's that they're rude, right? Because it could come off that way. I think it's like they're just not used to that.
We're
and
shy.
I think that is the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes it's mistaken like bitchiness. It's more shyness.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think, because then I started talking to them, and there's every single person was so nice and delightful and like so great. Like, so I'm like, oh, it's just a matter of like, yeah, they're like, oh, I'm here. It's like at a school dance. Like, what do I do? They kind of just keep to themselves, And like, you know, I know we're here to like, you know, take photos and videos and then post them to show how much fun we had, but like, let's actually have fun. Like,
Yeah.
let's actually do what we're saying we're doing, but maybe we're not doing. Like, and so I think that's what we need to like learn. Like, we're not here to show people some kind of version of what this party was, because then that's just not really authentic, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that that's just kind of getting lost. But there are some creators who are so like themselves, and you could just tell, like, I'm like, this can't be a shtick, you know what I mean? And I love that. I like people who just seem really kind of off the cuff and like quirky and themselves, rather than that like cookie cutter same thing over and over, where they kind of all look the same.
I love that too. I think authenticity there's so much value in that, especially nowadays. And I think with the HSN, and like I have a background in TV, and I sometimes am unable to shed that persona. So I wonder if that's something, I don't know, maybe coming from that background too, especially early. I feel like pre-COVID BC, it was like a totally different era. But yeah, like now it's, you know, you have to be able to be more adept and transparent, but sometimes there's those self-limiting beliefs, those imposter beliefs, and
Oh my
like,
God,
why
yeah, I
can't
have
I
that
just let loose and like just get rid of that? So do you struggle with that? Like, do you still get nervous when you go on
so
air?
much.
How do you deal with that?
I do. I feel like I black out when I go on TV. I'm like, I'm like, I literally black. Like, did I just say also? And I love the F word. My husband, when I got hired on QVC, he's like, good luck with that. I'm like, I've never once said the F word. I don't know how,
Good
but
for
like, you turned
you.
it off. Yeah.
Yeah, I said sexy the other day on HSN, and I was like,
Oh
that felt really
my
weird. That felt really weird.
God. Oh my gosh. I know. I've said some questionable things on QVC, but I black out when I go on TV. I'm actually taping 3 segments this week. So I'm doing a virtual one in Nashville on Thursday, and I'm driving down to Miami and taping 2 different ones that are going to air on a different date. Like, one is a for High Smile toothpaste, and the other one is a Mother's Day gifting segment. And I'm
Mm,
already like, that's a lot for one week, because it's all different stuff. Like, when you're with one brand on QVC, you know, I was able to just like talk about it in my sleep at that point. I was working with a clothing line. But when it's like a lot of different things, I'm like, thank God this isn't live, like, because I am going to bring my notes with me. But I black out for sure. Then I'm like, then I make myself sick and nervous that I forgot key points, and then like the brand I'm representing is going to be pissed. But it's just, you know, it is what it is. I never know where to put my hands. I always feel like I have this goofy, cheesy smile when like you're standing next to them, they're like, yeah, today we're going to talk about it. And I'm just like, yeah,
yes,
whatever.
the
And
word.
then I'm like, I know, it's like so awkward. Um, and I'm like, why am I even here? Like, I don't even have a college degree. Like, I don't even have a college degree. And I'm like, how am I doing this? I have no background in TV at all. But I'm here and I'm doing it. So it is what it is.
That's amazing. That's like so inspiring that you do that. Like, and that it's also not easy, you know, regardless of experience or not experience, there's a certain thing about that kind of content that you can't learn. It has to just come naturally. And I think that's really valuable that you have that as a creator too. And you can just get out there and talk, and you have to be able to BS a lot, I think.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I
Yeah,
think
you have to just be able to just like, you know, talk like off the cuff and just whatever and go with the flow. I mean, I remember being on KTLA on a live show, and I don't even remember what the segment was about. I was doing segments about everything and anything, and I had these like frozen meals, and we had them all like stacked up. And I had 2 hosts, and the guy, I don't even know his name, like touched them, and they all went like they all, and I was like, you're dead to me. Oh my God.
nightmare.
You know, but I'm like, and then I said, and then one of the same show, there was the whole show was a cluster fuck, okay,
LA.
because then I had like, I don't even know if it was BarkBox or like one of those doggy subscription thingies, and I'm like, oh, da da da, like, this is a great Christmas gift for your pets. And I turned to the host, and the woman host, and I said, do you have any pets? But this is why she's kind of messed up, because she goes, oh, I had a dog, but he died last year. And I'm like, we're literally on live TV.
Oh
Like,
my
why did you say
God.
that? How about just no?
What the heck? But you had
I
to pivot, I'm sure, and think on your feet and like quickly turn it
was
around.
like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die right now. Like, that was
You're like, but you
crazy.
know what would make you feel better? Some BarkBox subscriptions. That's so
I
great.
know.
But
I
again,
know.
the fact that you can do that and pivot, like that's so valuable. And the fact that in real life too, like I think creators and the younger sector these days, because of that lack of in-person interaction, it's hard to like pitch yourself and sell yourself and be able to like, give that elevator pitch when you meet someone, and you just got to make that connection. So I think that's really important. So what's in like one sentence, what would you sum up what you see for the next 5 years for Elena Duque Beauty?
Well, I want to be you. So I want to be on HSN so badly. So to tell you what happened on QVC is I had an agent at the time, and she got me the audition, and it was for a clothing line, but like a proprietary brand to QVC called Sports Savvy. And they were relaunching it, like it was around in the 90s. And everything was via Zoom. This was COVID times, and I was living in Florida. I'm like, because I remember I had wanted to go on QVC, but you had to live within like 2 or 3 hours. Yeah. They're like, oh, we don't care now. You can live anywhere. It's COVID. Everything's Zoom. Yeah. So there were like maybe 20 people that auditioned for it, and I got it, which I didn't think I was going to get it, because I'm like, I don't have experience. Like, I mean, I've done TV, but my imposter syndrome coming through, like, I don't have this. I don't like all the like negative things I was thinking of, but they hired me, and it was so amazing. I loved it. Then when like things started opening up, they were sending these emails like, we're going to need people in studio. And I'm like, oh God, like it was like a year and a half in kind of. And I'm like, oh God, am I going to lose? And I kept asking like, are you guys going to, and they're like, no, we love you. And we love you. We love you. We love you. Then they were flying me out to Pennsylvania constantly for like a month and a half, 2 months. So I got to go in the studio, which was amazing. And then they were like, sorry. But that was it. I had to finish out, and that was that. But they love me so much. They were like, we think you're amazing. Like, nothing against you, obviously. And they put me in touch with talent at HSN. And I spoke to someone there, and he was like, oh my God, I absolutely love you. I want to get you certified. I have a brand in mind. So I went, I got my certification. I got my certification. Then I had an interview with a clothing brand. She was not happy that I lived like a few hours away. She thought, I don't know why they didn't tell her. Like, and then it was like, I was kind of what's the word? Not sideswipe. I don't know what it is. I was like, oh, like we were on a video chat, me, her, and 2 people from HSN.
What?
And I was like, oh, and she was like not happy. And I'm like, okay, sorry. Like, I don't know. They should have told you like exactly what town I'm in. So that didn't work out. Then 2 other brands on HSN, one around December and one recently. They were looking for someone, and they did not pick me. So it's not been easy. So I'm really looking for like that, to have like, I just really miss that. And now in May, it's gonna be a year since I was on QVC. So I'm like, I don't want too much time to pass, time gap in between doing QVC or HSN. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I will get a brand on HSN, continue doing that, doing what I'm doing with social media and stuff. But I do want to do like kind of what I did. Like I said, I organized a trip. I kind of want to do something like that with influencers, like organize trips I love doing travel influencing. Like I have done a lot of that on TV stuff too, with different resorts. I worked with a tourism board in Curacao, and they sent me out there. It was amazing. So I kind of want to venture out, and I always try to do like the spa angle, like the best spa. So yeah, so I was saying, I'd like to try and organize more trips, influencer trips, and it doesn't necessarily have to be women over 40, but something where we can not just go and have fun and party, like it's not about that, but also connecting and maybe like learning from each other. I mean, when I met up with those women, we all gave each other such good advice, like things you don't even think about. I think like that's really important. And where I live, unfortunately, I don't think there's a lot of influencers. So I would love to do something here, but I don't know of any. Like, I don't like, they're more like maybe down south for me.
Where do you live?
So I live in a small town called Palm City. I'm like 40 minutes from West Palm Beach. Oh. So, I mean, I know there are influencers there. I just don't know any. So I have to like kind of,
Yes. You should start like a community thing. Like that's, because I didn't know anybody when I moved to St. Pete, and that's what I did. And it's built this like really great group of women, and we do networking events and things like that. And now they've like built relationships amongst themselves and like do things on their own. So I think it's important. I think if you put it out there, people will come.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm going to try something like that eventually.
We could connect sometime. And I mean, my whole family's in Miami, so I often am crossing the state and like going down to visit my mom. So anytime, that you're down to meet up or something, like West Palm
Oh
Beach
yeah.
or something, that would be so fun.
Oh my God, absolutely. I know. And like,
Tampa
I'm
Bay.
gonna hopefully go to Tampa to do another segment maybe next month.
Yeah.
So if so, I'll let you know, because I would definitely love to meet up. Yeah.
Have you
You know,
worked
you
with
know all the good spots. You're always at the good restaurants.
I was gonna say I'd love to connect you with the HSN team, but obviously you're clearly in touch with them. But I think, have you done like Bloom or Daytime and those shows? I think you do so great.
No, I did. I've done just Tampa Bay Morning Blend.
I feel like Bloom would love you.
Oh yeah.
TV.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, they're really great. And I think that's another thing. Like I get, reached out like, how do you get on TV and stuff? And like, honestly, one of my first segments in Tampa Bay was a DM that I sent. And I was like, hey, I'm an on-air host. Like, here's some topics in my life and like based on, my platform that I have right now. And I didn't hear from them for like a month or two. And then finally they're like, hey, we have this segment that we think you'd be a great fit for. So I think again, not being afraid to just put yourself out there and
Oh
be like,
yeah.
I'm here, I can do it.
I pitched myself so much. It's crazy. Yeah, you have to like, and then you have to follow up. You can't just say, oh, they ghosted me. Like these people are busy, and
Yeah.
people in TV are terrible with getting back to you. Like it is the worst. So
Yeah.
you do have to keep on it. And like I keep a list of like who I'm reaching out to. Like I'm very like old school pen and paper. I'm like, okay, this is who
Yeah.
I emailed on this day. So I
You
can
have
like
to.
really have it all together. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I have a spreadsheet with all the media contacts and like that's, and that is like part of my livelihood. So when people ask for contacts, I'm like, I can't like just give you a producer
No.
contact. Like that's, maybe eventually, but like, yeah, it's people like contacts are,
Oh
it's a
my
big part of it. Yeah, it's everything. So the fact that you're going out there and putting yourself out there in person to meet people like the CEO of Tarte, like that's amazing. I was following the Kindness Tour when they were in Tampa, like through social, and it's like, this is so cool. And then I saw you do some content about it and just thought that was amazing that, you got to be in there and such an exciting opportunity that maybe you thought even to yourself, like, wow, this is too aspirational for me, but they reached out to you and wanted to work with you. So taking away those
And
self-limiting beliefs.
I mentioned HSN to them because I know they're on there, and then I know they have a host, but I'm like, hey, I'll do backup, like, so hopefully something will come of that, like anything, just to get in. So you'll never know. You never know.
You
I have
never
to keep
know.
it open. I like try to, not get down on myself, and just I keep putting one foot in front of the other. Like that's the only way. Like if it's like I'm sure actors go through this, like you get so many no's, you get so many doors closed in your face, and you cannot take it personal.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, it's not me. Like they just found somebody not better, just somebody maybe better suited. The last person that was looking for someone, it was for shoes on HSN, and she loved everything about me except that I don't have shoe experience. And I'm like, I wear shoes. I'm a woman. I'm fine. And I know there's lingo or whatever, but I'm like, I could pick it up easily. But it is what it is. They wanted someone because I guess it was very last minute, and they just really wanted someone who'd done it before. So it's like I can't blame them. Like when it's your company, like, and you need something specific, like it is what it is. But I just have to keep trying.
Yeah, and you never know. Again, you can't take it personal if it's you. It could be the circumstance. Like I've had brands on HSN that I've worked with drop me because they're like, "Hey, we're gonna have a salesperson come in from our team and do it instead to save money." And
I
you're like,
heard that happens a lot.
yeah, and you get offended. You're like, is there something I could have done better? Like, were my sales sucky? Like that, really gets to you. And I'm kind of in the same place too, where I'm feeling like not stuck, but like I had a really amazing January, February. There was so much going on, and I kind of have like a lull now, and I'm like frustrated with myself. Although when a lot of things were going on, I was like, I really need a lull where I can just strategize and like get myself together for the next high peak. And now I'm like feeling like, damn, like, and I think that's something that I don't know about you, but I struggle with always like wanting to do the next best thing. And like my
Yeah,
heart, like, you're never going to be happy, are you?
that's how I feel. Yeah, like it's never enough. I'm like, oh my God, it's bad. Like I feel like, am I ever gonna just be like, oh, I'm good exactly where I am. I don't want to do more. Like I don't know if I am capable of that
I'm
sometimes.
right there with you, girlfriend.
Yeah, it's
So
strange. It's a strange feeling. I think that's what makes us do what we do though, because you have to kind of be like that in this industry because you can't get complacent, and it's always moving and evolving. So you kind of have to.
Yeah, you do. Especially like, where I'm 31, you're 4, like we're older, which is like freaks me out that to even think that. But yeah, there's a line of 20 something year olds who have, maybe are even more digitally savvy because they're more adept
Oh,
to apps and things like that. And I think it's so important that we have to stay on top of the trends, but also differentiating ourselves in the way we know best, which is like being in person and connecting. I think that's a skill that will be a lost art in like a couple
yes,
of decades.
100%. It really will be. So we have the upper hand.
I agree. The art of communication. And
Hmm.
communication is such a broad like umbrella of so many things. And I think, you do so much. It's like you market, you create, you represent brands. I'm sure you consult these brands that you're working with and you're giving them strategies and ideas for segments. Like you have to be able to wear so many hats.
Sorry, I'll pick him up. Hold on a second. He's,
Oh,
he's,
see, you
he's
have to wear
so-
so many hats. That was perfect timing.
Oh my God, he's crazy. He's my little baby. Oh, here he is.
Oh, oh my God. What a nugget.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
cutie.
Say hello. Say
What's his
hello to the
name?
world.
What's his
There's
name?
somebody mowing around. His name is Brooks. We adopted him in November, and
Oh,
he's a little trouble.
he's so freaking cute. Oh
Oh
my
my God, I'm
God.
obsessed with him, like on another level.
Is that your only child
No,
form?
we have two adopted dogs and I have two daughters.
Okay, yeah, I was
And
gonna
a husband and a partridge in a pear tree. We have full on crazy house here, which is a whole nother level, whole nother podcast on how to do it all. Like
literally.
literally when we hang up, I'm going to do my rounds of school pickups.
Oh my God, girl. So that's what I'm saying, wearing so many hats. Like, how do you do it all? What does a day in the life look like for you? And how do you carve out time to like create content and work with brands?
Oh my God. So my day in the life is always different. Like that's part of being a content creator. But luckily my girls are a little older. They're 8 and 11, and like this in June and July, they're gonna be 9 and 12. So it's
Oh
like
my
they're more
God.
self-sufficient. They're more, you know what I mean? Like having little like 5 and under, that's like whew. And at that time I wasn't doing content, and I don't know how some of these moms do because they are just around the clock needy and they're home with you. So at least I have the daytime to myself. Like on Thursday when I have to do a segment from home for Nashville, I'm gonna put the two dogs in daycare because of what just happened. So they love like a little doggy daycare day, and so it's good for them too because then they come home tired. But my husband's really, I have a husband who's very like he works, but he does a lot. Like he doesn't just like come home and like do nothing. So he does a lot. He's very helpful. And I have parents. I mean, the community. It takes a village. I have a good group of friends. Like we all help each other out with things, and my house looks like crap. I'm not like some perfect. It's like there's always something. There's like random things everywhere. I'm not super OCD. I have a cleaning lady twice a month, and I'm very fortunate to be able to afford that. And I always say, like, I know that's a luxury not everyone has. Um, and I'm very thankful for Publix rotisserie chicken for dinner.
I love but it's yeah, I mean, it's okay. Like I personally, cleaning is not one of the things I prioritize because
I hate
I
it.
have so much like going on. So I like struggle with making content at home actually because I feel like I don't want to show too much of my house on social. So yeah, that's something I struggle with. And it's like, how do you have so many things going on. How do you figure time to like put on that content creator hat? So I think that's great that you're not afraid to ask for help. Like you have to ask for help and you have to outsource. A lot of people don't realize like you should be outsourcing things. It's okay.
Oh my God, absolutely. Like, you think, well, I'm spending money on this. Yeah, but then that money is well spent because it's giving you the time or the freedom to do something that you're actually better at, right? Like I'm good at. Like I'm not going to spend all day cleaning because I'm like so bad at it. I feel like it would take me so much longer. And like they're done in like 2 hours. They like whip my house into shape. And it gives me like such like a sense of relief when they come on those days. So I'm like, oh, thank God. I've even used laundry delivery service, which now some of my friends are like, thank God you introduced me to this. Like they pick it up, they wash it, they fold, they, do everything, fold it and bring it back.
Oh
I'm like,
my
can you put it
God.
away too? Because that's like literally the worst part.
Yeah,
But yeah.
that's
So
amazing.
I don't always use that, but like if I'm like gonna have a crazy week or 2 weeks that I know, like I just because like work comes in spurts, like when you do this. So like if I have a week where it's like maybe it's a week where I'm like gearing up, like this week is my crazy week because I have 3 TV shows this week. So like I'm not gonna sit home and fold laundry. I'm gonna focus more on practicing my key points and, just making sure everything's like set up for what I need it to be and be perfect. And so maybe this will be the week I send out the laundry too.
Yeah, and that's okay. I recently did a partnership with a cleaning company, and like they came and cleaned the house, and I did a reel for them, and I didn't show too much of the house, so they didn't love it, so they didn't call me back.
Oh my God.
It was so nice. Like I was like, dang, okay, I could definitely do more partnerships like this that actually like help me clean my house and have a more organized life. But
Oh
it's
my gosh,
important. Your space dictates, I think, your mindset too. But when you're doing so many things, like you have to be able to set your schedule your way, regardless of what that looks like.
right. It's not like the day in the life vlogs that like are so, I mean, it's not real. Like I've seen like funny ones. I saw one that was like a day in the life of a hungover piece of shit. And I was like, this is
Yeah.
the best video I've ever seen. She was like laying in bed, dragged herself to McDonald's, and then like that was it. I'm like, that's see, like something like that. Like I'm like that stayed in my memory. And I mean the aesthetic ones are nice to watch. They're inspirational, but then sometimes they make you feel bad. You're like, oh my God, should I be doing this all day?
Right. Yeah. What am I doing before 6 a.m.? Like that they're already awake. Like,
I
and
know, like,
that's not
yeah,
real.
I wake up, and my kids are like, I don't want to wake up. Like, should I do a video like that where it's like
Yeah.
so awful? Like,
100% you should.
I know, I really should actually.
The real influencer wake up vlog.
Yeah, yeah, for real. Because it's not all, perfect. But, it's fun to watch those though, because it makes you feel like, oh, that's aspirational. And I get inspired, right? Like that's the whole point, I think, of social media, connecting, getting inspired, learning. Oh my God,
Yeah.
I've learned so many things. So
And out of the box. Do you involve your daughters in any of your content?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
We did something together, but I don't even remember what it was. But I just did a video, but I haven't posted it yet, because they haven't told me to post it yet. But BRX, the brand BRX, they make these lip balms that have honey in them, Kanuka honey.
Ooh, I
And
love
they're
that.
good for when you have a cold sore, like not to treat the cold sore, but just to like soothe the crackness. And my 11-year-old suffers from cold sores. So we did a video with them. And then hopefully, I don't know, I may or may not be doing something with him with Fresh Pet. We'll see.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
see a star in the making. Like, look at
Yeah.
that little
Oh my God,
cutie.
right?
And so
I'm
chill.
gonna be a stage mom.
Yeah, Chris Jenner of it all. Oh, why not exploit your pet child? Like,
Oh my God, I know. Sometimes when I really want a good view on a video, I'll start with just holding him.
I'm
Like,
loving this angle already. Like, it's perfect. Oh
he's just the
my God,
cutest.
you guys
And
are
nobody believes he's adopted. I'm like, I know. That's even like, he looks like a dog you paid for.
literally like a
Yeah.
blue, like bread,
Yeah.
like
He
very
was two
fancy
months
breed.
old. Yeah. He was like such a baby too. It was him and his brother that went for adoption.
Oh,
Give him to me now. Oh my God. Yeah.
you just know when it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Oh, you're such a cutie. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for
Well,
having me.
Elena, yeah, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I can't believe we've been chatting for an hour. I so appreciate you chatting with me. It was so fun. I wish we could do it with a cocktail.
I know, me too. We will next time. It was
Yeah,
so great to meet
definitely.
you.
You too. And please tell us where we can follow, find, and see all things Elena Duque Beauty.
So my main platform's TikTok, but that might get taken away. But it's the same at TikTok, Instagram. I'm not very active on YouTube, but I do have a YouTube channel. And it's at Elena Duque Beauty, my name. So that's where you can find me. And my website is elenaduquebeauty.com as well.
I went on your YouTube and like your YouTube's popping. Like I'm trying to push more to YouTube and like I was like, dang, she's got a great presence already. So I think, you're like so dynamic on all platforms. And I love that you like tailor your content for the platform. It's not just like even I struggle with this. Influencers, you'll see it's like the same post across every page.
Because
So
it's a lot of work. I mean, but
it
they
is.
don't all do, like, people tell you to do that. Like a lot of marketing people go, just take it and repurpose it. No, because it's just not the same. Like people want different things on different platforms. And
Exactly.
it's true.
And yeah, the fact that you deliver that and you serve the content, you serve the beauty, you serve the face, like gotta go follow Elena Duque Beauty. So thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I feel like you're a friend of mine. I hope we get to meet in person soon and I'll be keeping you posted on all the live podcast stuff.
Yeah, and let me know when it airs, so I'll share it and all the good stuff too.
Yes, yes. I'll cut this out. But yeah, I'll keep you posted. And then I was like, let me do this on the podcast. Again, when I'm sent these products, it's really cool. I really appreciate being sent products without having to be forced to post, and really just having brands be like, hey, we want to send this to you and see if you organically like it, and if you do, share it. But I didn't even know this product was coming, so I want to start incorporating new products into my skincare routine now that my skin has kind of like balanced out. But I totally disrupted my skin barrier, my facial barrier, as they say. So Claudia from OVME has put me on like just 3 basic calming products and took out all active ingredients or any crazy irritating things. So I'm slowly trying to get back to experimenting with more active products and ingredients. So this is really cool. Trillion fermented brightening cleanser with niacinamide probiotics and pineapple enzymes. Okay, this could be cool. All right. I'm going to try. I may start trying these. Ooh, and I like that they send a whole like poster. Oh, I like this. Your skin is magical. It's naturally resilient, self-healing, and has everything it needs to thrive. I love that. How cool is this? There are a trillion magical things about the skin you're in. I love that. Okay, Trillion, I'm digging your branding and how thoughtful you are with your influencer PR packages, especially without forcing me to post. How cute is this? Hi, Alexia, introducing Trillion. We're launching and hope you love it as much as we do. Oh, so this brand just launched. Thank you, Cindy, founder of Trillion. That is so cool. Okay. Fermented brightening cleanser, a cellular activating resurfacing treatment, and the Unreal Dewy Moisturizer. Okay, I'm going to definitely try this out. I just bought a new moisturizer that I was like waiting to try out. So this one may have to get in line, or that other one may get in line, because I'm actually like, I want to support Trillion now because I love how thoughtful this all has been. See, and what could happen if you're a brand and you are just a little thoughtful to a creator that may align with your audience, with your target audience. You don't have to spend a ton of money. Wow. Oh my gosh. It's like, these are full-size products. Like, this would probably be worth, I don't know. Let's see. I'm curious. Because honestly, I was going to gift this box away and just to my friend. But, sorry, friend. Trillion Skincare. Let's see. This is cool. Go Trillion. I'm into it. I like your branding. I like your colors. I like your approach. Oh, what the heck? This moisturizer is $80. The fermenting brightening cleanser is $42. And the cellular resurfacing serum is $95. Okay. Guys, I'm discovering all of this in real time with you. So I love this. Trillion Skincare, shout out for being awesome. Okay, this is really cool. Your skin is awe-inspiring. It feels like very scientific. It doesn't feel like an MLM. That's something as a content creator, when I get approached by brands that are clearly a multi-level marketing scheme, like a Monet. Sorry, if you work with like those kinds of brands, no shade, girl. You gotta get your money somewhere. But I'm not gonna like collaborate with you because I don't want to get sucked into that. I'm trying to find their Instagram. Why it's not at their footer. I don't love that. All right, we're gonna have to read into this because $95 for this little serum. So this is like $200 worth of product. Thanks, Trillion. Trillion Skincare. Because your skin loves Trillion. Now I'm their newest brand ambassador. Hire me. This is really cool. Okay. Shout out Trillion. Okay, I'm like clutching onto this box. Okay, Trillion Skincare. See, this is what happens when you put yourself out there as a content creator. I probably put my email on some gifting PR list, or maybe they just found my email on my Instagram bio. But you never know. Now I get free skincare products. I wasn't going to post about them. Again, I was going to gift that. I wasn't even, I was just going to gift that box away. I wasn't even planning on posting about it, but I may post about it now because I'm really impressed by this whole gift box and the fact that it's such a high value gift box. Okay. All right, second gift box. This is Good Molecules. This one's like heavy. Again, I think they DM'd me and were like, hey, do you mind if we send you a box of some products and just to try them out? You don't have to post. And I thought, of course. And again, well, clearly sometimes I don't even open the box, but that makes me want to post about a brand more than a brand that reaches out and is like, hey, we want to give you a $50 gift card to post after a meal. I'm like, okay, so this $50 gift card is going to cover a mediocre meal, and then I still have to post about it, and I'm not getting anything in return. That's when I say, no, is your budget flexible? And then that makes me like feel weird about posting and like, ugh, like it feels forced. So this feels like another good gift box. I've heard about Good Molecules, and I clearly have seen their Instagram. Oh, this box is fun. Okay, let's see Good Molecules. How fun is this box? OMG. Oh my gosh, this is really cool. Nice. Okay, so their founder, Nils, is sharing Good Molecules. I guess it's another new skincare product. So another new skincare line. So Good Molecules. Okay, this box is really pretty. I like want to take a picture of it for Instagram, but I'm filming with my phone right now, so I'm just gonna hold it for a picture. I'll take a screenshot. Wow, this packaging is gorgeous. I'm loving this branding. It's very impressive. I like want to carefully open this box. Dude. Look at all of these gorgeous products. Another like beautiful setup of products. Another gorgeous setup, another gorgeous box. Like, these skincare brands are killing it. Oh, they're at Ulta. So we got the lightweight daily moisturizer from Good Molecules. We've got their niacinamide brightening toner. Oh, and I love how the back of the box tells you the steps and how to use each product, which I think more skincare brands need to be transparent in how to use steps and like their products, because I'll sometimes buy like a few skincare steps from a brand, like one brand, and then I don't know how to use them. So I have to like go online and look up, okay, like how do I which product should I layer on first, blah, blah, blah. So discoloration correcting serum from Good Molecules. So these are 4 products. It's 4 steps. And an overnight exfoliating treatment. Dang, dude, this is awesome. Now available at Ulta. Okay, so it seems as though Good Molecules is at a lower price point than Trillian. I think there's a menu in the back here. So it's more affordable, which I think it's kind of great that I get to have a range of like, Trillian seems to be more expensive than Good Molecules, so I get to try both of them. So I'm going to do that. Instead of, actually have a facial scheduled tomorrow at OFME, instead of maybe buying more products from there, I'm going to talk to Claudia, my esthetician, about incorporating these new products into my routine from Trillian and Good Molecules to see which ones might best fit my current skincare needs, and I can plug and play, maybe save some for the future or gift 1 or 2. I don't know. I'm like kind of obsessed with all of this packaging and branding. I kind of want to keep everything. So thank you. And then there's one more little envelope that I got. Oh my god, it's from Good Molecules again. You guys, you must really like me, Good Molecules. I like you too, don't worry. Just kidding. That's so nice, though. I'm very flattered that they've now sent me 2 packages. Makes me want to post. But again, I want to try the products first before I start posting about them. Oh god, I'm so bad at packages. I'm like a little kid on Christmas. What is this? Oh! I'm a mess today, y'all. I just hit my head on the microphone again. This is one of those, like, envelopes with stuffing in it, and it all just erupted on my jumpsuit overall thing. We'll continue. Ooh, pimple patches. Worth it. So worth it. I love a good pimple patch. Okay, Good Molecules. This may be the first thing I post about because I use these all the time, and I bought some cheap ones from Amazon and I haven't been digging them. So thank you for my pimple patches, Good Molecules. What are you trying to tell me? All right, let me clean myself up and then get back to you. Another package that I've received that this isn't gifted, I paid for this, but just wanted to show it to you. And I guess I'll just open it with you because I haven't opened it yet. But I haven't changed my last name since Mike and I got married. I've been very lazy about it. And I just, I don't know, mostly the laziness and just like not wanting to get the process started. And then I have like flights booked for trips and things like that. So just laziness. But I also kind of didn't know where to start. So I had done some research and found that this newly named service allows or gives you everything that you need to get your name changed, and like the forms and the documents, they send them to you. And then obviously I still have to like go to the Social Security office and the DMV and do those in-person things that somebody else can't do for you. But this is a box that kind of just like guides you through the process. So I'm excited to use their services. I will keep you posted as the process begins, but I obviously haven't started because I'm just opening the box right now. Oh, okay. Well, I thought it was going to be some unboxing. But yeah, just a folder. It says newly named. And I can't get it out. Okay, it has like a checklist. I got a discount code for it, to be honest. So it really, like, honestly, I'm down to pay for anything that'll make my life easier. Okay. It's like a checklist, like a whole just like folder full of documents for everything that you need to do. So I'm excited to start working with you, newly named, and I'll let you guys know how the process goes. I'm really excited to take Mike's last name. I've shared before, I don't really have a relationship with my dad. So the last name Gonzalez, I'm the only one in my family that has it, and I just feel no tie to that name at this point in my life, and feel such a tie to the Snyder name, so I really look forward to changing it. But one thing is that I don't want to lose my Hispanic identity by getting rid of Gonzalez, which obviously is such a Hispanic last name. And I think that's another reason I've had trouble letting go, because it's like Alexia Gonzalez, you know immediately that I'm Hispanic when I tell you my name. Alexia is a Greek name, so there's no tie there. But once I enter Snyder, I'm going to sound like a white lady when I introduce myself. So I think I'm going to take my grandma's maiden name, which is Astengo, and make that my middle name, because I don't have a middle name, even though I'm Hispanic, and every Hispanic person has middle names, it seems. So I'm going to take Astengo and make that my middle name, so it'll be Alexia Astengo Snyder. And Astengo isn't really that Hispanic. It's, I think, Italian, actually, is like the root of it. But it's a beautiful name, and I want to honor my abuela and have that connection with her. And my stepdad and my mom, their last name is Garcia, which I thought of taking on as well, but that's such a common last name, and it's so close to Gonzalez, and I just think it'd be really unique to take on abuela's maiden name and then take on Snyder. So Alexia Stango Snyder will be the name whenever I finish up the whole newly named process. And yeah, I'm really excited for that. So that's a journey that I'm starting to begin now, and I just need to dedicate an hour to looking into that box and getting the forms done. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to do. I think it's sometimes when I have a really big project coming up, I can get paralyzed by the anticipation of getting the work done. And I think that's something that's happened with the changing of the last name. And even with the vlog I did last week, or the podcast episode, about the wedding. It had taken me a year to my 1-year anniversary to put out a blog post, to talk about it on my forum in like a retrospective kind of way. Obviously, I posted a bunch of content after the wedding, like photos and videos and reels, but never like sitting back and looking at it. I also posted our reaction video, watching the wedding video for the first time. So you can find that on YouTube, and that's a really special video to me. So I think sometimes we get in our own way, in our own heads. And I talk about this with Elena in the upcoming interview, where, there's just like, you always want to top yourself and do better and do so many things, but sometimes it can be paralyzing. And I know that happens to me sometimes. And that happened with the podcast quite a bit before getting started. Like, just the thought of getting started with a podcast paralyzed me. And I just put it off for a while. And then finally I was like, you keep having this thought, but you keep putting it off. So you're just going to make yourself sick with like wanting this thing to happen, but you're not making the effort to make it happen. So taking the first step is always the biggest and hardest thing to do. And you got to just do it if you want to make something happen and come to life. So like PR packages, these amazing packages that I just got to open, these hotel stays that I get to talk about, and restaurant partnerships and beauty partnerships and things like that. I put myself out there with the brands that I know I want to work with and try to show them like, hey, I'm present, I'm here, I'm talented, I'm unique in my own way. How can we work together? So I think that's something as a creator that you have to consider too, and not be afraid to really seek those partnerships and those goals that you want to accomplish. You have to get out there and meet people and connect in person. And again, Elena and I talk about this. So just stay tuned for that interview because we dive deeper. She's a really talented beauty blogger and an experienced actual beauty professional. So she knows what she's talking about, and she's completely honest and transparent, which I think is so important. And I try to be on this platform as well. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Gala Vision. I hope you enjoyed our chat, and make sure you're subscribed to the Gala Vision Podcast wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube so that you can join me every week in the Gala Life studio and chat with me. I mean, it's always fun to watch, right? Even if I look kind of crazy. Mike says I look like a crazy painter lady today, and I'm kind of digging the vibes, like the painter overall vibes. And just stay tuned. I have some fun updates coming up. I have a giveaway coming up on the Gala Life and a really exciting event that I'm working on May 22nd. I will be hosting a content creator and influencer workshop at Co-Hatch co-working space in downtown St. Pete, May 22nd. It's going to be a really educational, informative, hands-on, and fun event for anyone who's looking to learn how to brand themselves and how to become influential. And when I say influential, I don't mean like how to become an influencer. I mean how to become influential in the industry or niche that you're in, even if you're not trying to become like a social media influencer. But if you work for a company full-time, if you represent a corporation or a business, you essentially have to influence your clients, your employers, people to come work with you or come work for you. So being influential is a really big part of today's marketing landscape and digital society. So how to be influential, how to be strategically influential, how to be an influencer, how to brand yourself, all of those topics we'll dive into. Content creation, how to pitch yourself to brands in a strategic way, how to write an email pitch, just a lot of really important topics that to me were the basis of starting my brand as an influencer, as an entrepreneur, as a content creator, as an on-air host, and all of the aspects that went into that I learned from scratch on my own and from my years of experience working for marketing and public relations agency and working for national clients around the world. So I told you Mike had shingles and he's recovering, or basically almost recovered at this point, thank God. But it was really tough and really sad and painful. He could not sleep. So I could not sleep for like a solid almost 2 weeks. The rashes on his back were insane from the shingles. The pain he felt was really bad from it. Like, I've never seen him in pain like that. I would not wish that on my worst enemy. So glad the shingles have left the building. I would highly recommend you get vaccinated for chickenpox or whatever it takes to not get shingles. Thank God my mom had me vaccinated for chickenpox when I was younger. And so that apparently prevents you from getting the chickenpox virus, which is what leads to shingles later in life. So I had never had chickenpox. If I hadn't had the vaccine, I would have gotten chickenpox from Mike, probably. I mean, we were in such close contact. There's no way I would have not gotten it. And then later in life, I could have had the potential to get shingles. So that's how it works. I didn't know. I've done so much research on it now. So I highly recommend that you get protected for that because it was no fun. So for his birthday, we found out he had shingles on our anniversary, which is when we were at the Don Cesar Resort. We were supposed to stay at the Vinoy Resort for the next weekend, which was his birthday. So we couldn't do that, and that is rescheduled for this weekend. So we're really excited to have a stay at the hotel where we got married at 1 year ago, and I'll be sharing more about our experience at the Vinoy Resort. I wanted to share with you first that on May 22nd, I'm hosting an event here in downtown St. Pete at the Co-Hatch co-working space. And it's going to be a hands-on, fully educational and immersive workshop all about how to brand yourself and how to be influential. And when I say influential, I don't mean an influencer, although it could be that. It's all about influencer tactics and tips and strategies. But whether you work for yourself, a company, a corporation, an agency, there's going to be a time when you have to pitch yourself, or you have to garner new clients, sell something, and be influential to some degree. So I'm going to teach you how to do that and how to use all of the incredible digital tools that are available to us to sell yourself and to package yourself as a brand. And branding is all about what makes you unique and what value proposition you can offer in whatever field you're in. So this event will focus on all of that, as well as content creation, influencer marketing, all these really incredible aspects that go into being a full-time creator, but also just to be an influential professional in today's day and age. So I'll be dropping the ticket link for that event soon, but stay posted for updates. It's May 22nd at the Co-Hatch co-working space in downtown St. Pete, and it'll be a really fun night. Can't wait to share more, but just wanted to drop it on your radar so that you can block off the date on your calendar. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of the Gala Vision Podcast. I'm your host, Alexia, aka The Gala Life. And make sure you're following me on The Gala Life on Instagram and subscribe to The Gala Life on YouTube so that you can join me every week in the Gala Life studio for new episodes. We're also on Instagram for Gala Vision TV. So just tune in, subscribe, join me in my journey. I so appreciate that you do and your time. And I want to hear more from you. Give me your comments, message me, submit a question for the podcast, or join me. I would love to chat and interview you here. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. And I hope you enjoy the interview with Elena Duque Beauty. Make sure you're following her across all platforms at Elena Duque Beauty. One final note for the day, just be kind to others. You never know whose day you can change with a smile and a positive mood. It really can make a difference in somebody else's life because you never know what somebody else is going through. So be kind. It costs $0 to be kind and to just give off good vibes. Thank you for your good vibes, and I can't wait to gallivant with you next week on Gala Vision, baby. There's no music playing, but